I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel, guys. In this video today, we're going to be previewing a massive midweek game week 265. We've got continental competition going on across the globe, and there's stories everywhere to be seen. We've got the Asian Champions League group stages coming to an end. We've got the Copa Libertadores starting to heat up with some tasty head-to-heads in the group stages. We've got the first leg of the CCL final. The boys Seattle Sounders are looking to go and make history and become the first MLS team to go and win it. They're away in the first leg in Mexico to Pumas, and on top of that, we've got all the European semi-finals across the Pantheon. We've got Champions League semi-finals, City hosting Real Madrid, Liverpool hosting Villarreal, and the Europa League is all about Leipzig at home to Rangers, and West Ham are going to be hosting Frankfurt. The Europa League semi-finals have got a lot of interesting dynamics in them, and I can't wait to get stuck into them with you today, as well as the Europa Conference League. You know, the first ever iteration of the competition has got 4 fantastic semi-finalists, and they're going head-to-head this week. I've wrote it down in my notes as Rogers v Jose, but it's Leicester at home to Roma, and then also we've got Feyenoord and Olympique Marseille. At any point in the video today, guys, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, as we preview all of these matches and build my teams for the game week, please do like and subscribe and share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. If you could hit the subscribe button, I do daily global football content, everything from Wonder Kids and Rising Star Managers to fantasy football and watch-alongs. That will also automatically enter you into my April giveaway. This month I'm giving away a 1 of 100 Belgium Youth International, Ewood Pletench, and 2 limited goalkeepers. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Let's start from the top where it matters, and that is the Champions League, the premier competition in world football. Man City again are back at the semi-finals, so are Liverpool, so are Real Madrid, and we also have the underdog Villarreal in the mix as well. City hosting Real Madrid. Unfortunately, like, when City have got the first game at home, most teams, what they'll try and do at home is get some sort of positive result and go into the second leg and try and stay resolute and, you know, win the game over there when the away goals rule was so prevalent. Now that the away goals rule has been scrapped, what I've noticed in a lot of European competition this season is a lot of teams are really waiting for the final 30 minutes of the entire tie, you know, over both legs, before really kicking into gear and going for the jugular or throwing the kitchen sink at things to go and make things happen. And I think both teams, City and Real Madrid, you know, City are always dead nervous. I think this will be the third semi-final the City have got to over the last, you know, 10-12 years, whatever it is, and it always gets kind of nervy when it's the semi-final stage. And Real Madrid is like the poster child of been there and done that. You know, the squad they've got, even the youngsters coming through are of such a high calibre that Man City cannot be taking anything for granted. I don't think they will be, but it is all going to come down to the star power. It's all going to come to the biggest names. Is Benzema going to keep his form? Is Modric going to turn up? Is Kroos going to, you know, show up and do his thing? Is De Bruyne going to do some De Bruyne stuff? You know, are we going to see some magic from Jesus, Mahrez, Foden, Sterling, the arsenal that City have in the first leg? You know, the way City tend to play is, especially in each half, the first kind of 10-15 minutes is where they're going to try and score the majority of their goals. So I expect the game to start quick, both sides of the whistle, if you like, you know, first half, second half. And I think for Real Madrid, especially with Carlo Ancelotti, they'll just be wanting to go to the Bernabeu, you know, maybe play some counter-attack football at the Etihad and then go back to the Bernabeu and put the Bernabeu crowd on them. Because the Etihad, like, I've been to the Etihad twice now this year, in both games I've got to say I was very underwhelmed with the in-stadium atmosphere, you know, for both occasions. And I don't think Real Madrid have got much to worry about in the second leg in that respect. I think that as long as the refereeing decisions don't go terribly against them, Real Madrid will feel confident if they can get on the ball or they can defend resolutely and keep City to, you know, hopeless crosses and that kind of thing. I think they'll actually be pretty confident coming into this. City need to get in front of the tie very quickly from the off, so I think it'll be a real kind of chess match in that respect. If City can get a goal early enough in either one of the halves, it really turns the temperature up in the tie, and then all sorts of magic could happen potentially. But if Real Madrid get a quick goal and then they're able to sit in and just counter attack and break, because that's what they really want to do against a team like City, City could be eaten out of Real Madrid's hands for 2 legs. It could be as foregone as that. You know, it really could be. Liverpool, on the other hand, are absolutely murdering teams now for fun. You know, they've got so many different iterations of their forward line that they can play, as well as their midfield. The defence, of course, feels pretty resolute and set at the moment, and Liverpool are going for some run now. Villarreal, like, they are probably the story of the Champions League this year, having knocked out Juventus and Bayern Munich, but surely this will be a step too far for them. I think Unai Emery will be very happy to go to Anfield and just park the bus and do an Atletico Madrid number almost, you know, just put 10 men behind the ball and try and break and just basically do what they did to Bayern. So Liverpool will really have to have their wits about them on transition and counter-attack. Where Villarreal need to be careful, of course, is racking up yellow cards and consistent fouls, that sort of thing, because if they were to go down to 10 men at any stage in this tie, then I think it is game over. Villarreal need to keep 11 men on the pitch at all times and keep their head and stay within their game plan, because if they can play that kind of game that they did to Bayern on Liverpool, they might get a decent result over the semi-final. I don't expect them to progress, but Unai Emery is coming into this tie with a massive chip on his shoulder after everything that happened at PSG and Arsenal. Winning the Europa League last year with Villarreal and then getting to the semi-finals this year has really re-established his status as an elite manager in European football, for me certainly, and probably for most other doubters out there. So I wouldn't put it past them, for a shock, but Liverpool's form now is just so irresistible. They can kill any team on the pitch. They're just phenomenal to attack and watch them now. I just don't think Villarreal have got more than 2 goals in them in this tie. And Liverpool could have 2 goals in 30 minutes, at any stage of the tie. If the ball was to break for them, or Villarreal switch off for 2 seconds, and that Anfield atmosphere, Champions League semi-finals for the first leg, I think Liverpool will want a very good result, and I think Villarreal will give them opportunities to attack galore. And then we're going to see how good of a goalkeeper and how good of a defence Villarreal have got. But I would expect the Man City game to be very tight, maybe decided by a goal or so, maybe probably a draw. And the Liverpool game, I would not be surprised if it was 2 or 3-0, 2 or 3-1 potentially. And that takes us on to the Europa League. RB Leipzig have just cemented a place in the final of the DFB Pokal, or the German FA Cup, whatever you want to call it. And having Rangers up next in the Europa League semi-final, Leipzig are just thinking about doing a cup double. They're putting all their eggs in this basket. They're almost certainly going to finish top 4 in the Bundesliga, as long as they don't let their form slip. And the squad the Leipzig have is so strong and so deep that they can rotate in between league and cup fixtures like they've done this season, and still keep really good strength of competition across all competitions when they've got a cohesive manager and coaching staff in place. And the job that Dominic Tedesco, Andy Hinkle and whoever else it is they've got, there's a 3-man kind of team there since they've come in to replace Jesse Marsch, has been nothing other than stellar. I expect, I'm happy to name the Leipzig teams that I'm pretty sure will start. Will be Galassi in goals, Simican, Orban, Guardiola the back 3, Angelino and Ben Henriks on the wings. Midfield 3 will be Campbell or Adams, I think it will be Campbell, and then Leimer and Olmo, and then up front Andre Silva and Nkunku. And I think they're just going to try and blow Rangers away over both games. They're not going to take any chances. They will want to get to the final of the Europa League, and then they'll have 2 cup finals to play for at the end of the season and really make a big statement season. Leipzig have been punching, trying to make big waves in European football, and they've not captured a trophy yet. I think they've got to Champions League semi-final, but I don't think they've ever got far in the Europa League before, maybe a semi-final before. So this chance to get to the final with Rangers, who are probably in a same respects to Villarreal, probably the story of the Europa League, having knocked out Dortmund and having a great group stage like they did. But I think the semi-final is going to be one step too far for Rangers. I expect Leipzig to absolutely blow them away. German teams at home in Europe, I can't state it enough, I cannot. German teams at home in Europe, I just always think they're going to win, and with the balance and quality that I see Leipzig versus Rangers being, I think it's all going to be Leipzig. Moan the Bulls. Now on to West Ham Frankfurt, 2 managers I've got a lot of time for in David Moyes and Oliver Glasner. Both guys are very forward, modern kind of thinking managers. David Moyes has had a lot of heat over the years, and we know that, right? I follow David Moyes' career quite closely because he's Scottish, of course, and all the rest of it. And one thing I found really interesting, the first time that he came into West Ham, is he talked about how much he'd went to Leipzig and he'd spent a real good bit of time watching what Red Bull do and how they talent ID and how they build their system, and you can see lots of similarities in the way West Ham play. Now it's just written all over it. They're tactically flexible, they interchange positions, they've got lots of clever footballers, and they rely on their strengths, and they don't let their strengths being obvious deter them from trying to push into it. A lot of teams, when they have like a big target man or a pacey winger or whatever, they get worried that they get sussed out, but they're unapologetic and they just play the football that they're going to. David Moyes will have 100% his focus on this. Frankfurt and West Ham are not guaranteed qualification to European football next year through the league table, so this is 100% a must-win competition for both teams. Frankfurt and West Ham, again, have got massive fan bases, very passionate fan bases. Frankfurt is steeped in European history, and West Ham, as we know, is one of the big traditional English clubs that's always been full of success and a very passionate fan base. So I expect both of these legs to be very tight and very strategic. It'll be a great match to watch if you're somebody who likes to analyse football and scout and coach and all that kind of stuff, because there will be 2 very contrasting systems. Glasner and Frankfurt will kill any team in the world on transition, and with the first leg being at home, West Ham will have the pressure on them to be on the ball and create chances, and that is just going to feed right into Frankfurt's hands if they can turn over the plate and counter-attack. Like Frankfurt counter-attack, very similar to the way Liverpool do. They'll play the ball down a channel, and within 1 or 2 passes, they're they've got such pace in attack and such direction, and they occupy the same spaces repeatedly that they can recreate goal scoring situations like that. So very dangerous tie for both teams, and I don't think this will be a one and done tie. I think this will be very tight over both legs. I wouldn't want to call a winner, to be honest with you, because it is so tight. My heart would probably go with Frankfurt because I've got Sorare cards for them, but my head probably tells me West Ham have maybe got just a wee bit more oomph in them at this time of the season, because they've had just much more success in their season. Frankfurt have been up and down, and yeah, they had a great result against Barcelona and they'll be riding high. I'm talking myself back in Frankfurt. It's just so tight. And then we come to the Europa Conference League. Now, the very first iteration of the competition we've got, as I've put in my notes, Rodgers versus Jose. Now, Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool and at Celtic was horrible in Europe, and I don't think Leicester have been overly convincing in their run to the Conference League semi-final. Jose Mourinho, of course, is on the totally other end of the scale. He's been there, done that, wore it, got the t-shirt, and I think for his pride, like, Roma will get Europa League football next year through qualification through Serie A. This is just about pride for Roma. This is about Roma getting a trophy in the cabinet. Jose's first season in Italy, and I believe that Jose's experience definitely, and the team Roma have, they've got veteran type players across the team, as well as guys like Tammy Abraham and Chris Smalling making a big name for themselves, who will be extra motivated against Premier League opposition. I think this will be a Jose masterclass over two legs, to be honest with you. Leicester have not been as forward foot, all firing, blowing teams away for the last couple of weeks is what they normally have, and I think over both legs, Jose and Roma are probably going to have just about enough to get to the first ever Europa Conference League final. That being said, but I think Brendan Rodgers, again, Leicester are not guaranteed European football next year through the league. This is a must-win competition for them, and I would expect them to be really conscious of not wanting to go to the Olympico in the second leg and needing a result. So I do feel the pressure's on Leicester to get some goals in this home tie, and that might just play into Jose Mourinho's hands. The reason I referenced Liverpool and Celtic is Brendan Rodgers, and my experience of watching him in European football is like been dissolute of ideas in terms of creating a change in the tide if the tie's going against the team. So if Roma can get some sort of sneaky advantage or whatever, or really make it difficult for Leicester to open up and create chances, I don't think Rodgers, from what I've seen, has got the ability to just drastically rip it up and go different to try and make something happen in the match. But probably the game that all the footballing scouts across the world will be watching this midweek when it comes to the continental competitions is the Europa Conference League semi-final between Feyenoord Rotterdam and Olympique Marseille. Again, both of these teams steeped in European history. Both have got amazing, passionate fan bases. This is probably going to be one of the best semi-finals we've got on the slate this game week. Feyenoord are, I remember early noughties, I think they got to a couple of UEFA Cup semi-finals and finals, that sort of thing. Obviously, back in the 60s and 70s, have won European Cups and the like. And this season, they've got some of the most lauded and sought-after youngsters in European football now, like Kochu and Sinistera and Malacia, lots of these different guys that have came through. And Olympique Marseille, with Sampaoli in charge, they've had a really storied season as well, looking to finish second in the league. And again, Marseille having won the first ever iteration of the Champions League, they would find it pretty special to win the first ever iteration of the Europa Conference League. And again, with both sets of fans, the way both these teams play football, the calibre of players that both teams have on display, this is going to be one of the best ties to watch for all involved this game week. I'm very interested to see how it goes, and I think whoever goes through from this tie is probably, would I make them favourites against Roma? It's going to be an interesting final, I'll put it like that. It's very tough to call, quite a lot of these games are, but I'm very excited to watch Feyenoord Olympique Marseille, because I think that'll be a great one for the scouts, it'll be a great one for the manager dynamics, and it'll be a great one for European fan culture, because the Europa Conference League did get really tanked when it got introduced and announced and whatever, and I think already, once we get to this stage, you can kind of see the value in it, you can see the worth in it, when the group stages is populated by lesser teams like Bodo Glimt, for example, and a few other clubs, they can really make a name for themselves in the European stage. And fair enough, we've got 4 kind of bigger clubs, I feel like, in these semi-finals, but for Leicester, Roma, Feyenoord and Marseille to be the semi-final contingent, that's hardly shabby, that's actually a pretty good competition in my point of view, so really looking forward to see how these ties develop over the game week. Let me know in the comment section down below which one of these fixtures that you're going to be following the closest. What, are you going to be stacking one of them? Who's your pick out player? Who are you captain in this game week? Let me know. Now for me, guys, I've only got 2 rare goalkeepers that are actually playing this game week, and I think I've got 2 limited goalkeepers that are running this week. So I've not got too many options, but quite simply, we're going with the tried and tested FC Barcelona's route of double super rare mids. I'm captaining Angelino, who's at home at Rangers, and Andre Silva. Of course, I've got a little Leipzig double act there. Kim Sung-gyu with his 12% multiplier, he's at home at Sagan Tosu, and I'm hoping with the form they've been in, Kashiwa Reysol can get me some good points. Like I mentioned before, I think Philip Kostic is the key man in the Frankfurt game, and is very capable of getting a very high AA score and is extremely decisive capable. Atauro Isaka, if I can say that correctly, is or they're not at home, it's a neutral location, but they're playing home United, and this is a must-win game for them after dropping points to Daegu in the doubleheader, the Korean team. Every game now is must-win for Urawa. Isaka scored and got an assist in the last time these two teams played, like last week, so I'm hoping he can repeat that. And I'm quite hopeful this team is quite podium dangerous if the results go the way I would expect them to. In All-Star Rare, it's a bit of a mismatch, just the best players I've got available otherwise. We've already spoke about Isaka, but I've also got Robertson at home at Villarreal with a 13% multiplier on him. Tani is away to Consadole Sapporo. Guardiola's at home at Rangers, and Timo Werner is playing Premier League action away to Manchester United. He's in good form. Man United are a joke for now. It seems like a pretty easy decision for me to make. In Limited, again, a lot of the same stories are coming back up again. Fagner is at home to Boca Juniors. He plays for Corinthians. That's in the Copa Libertadores. And then I'm going with an Inter Milan attack stack. They're away to Bologna, and they're really chasing down, trying to win the league. Lautaro Martinez has found some form again. Dzeko's had a great season, and these two guys can combine very, very well. And in Champion America, it's all about the Seattle Sounders. I don't think it's going to be... I think the best result the Sounders can hope for is like a 1-1 or a 0-0, but I'm just backing them and I'm going for it in case they can get some sort of crazy result. Pumas absolutely wiped the floor with the Revs in the earlier rounds, and you know, Schmetzer and the guys will be very wary not to let the first leg get away from them. They'll want to bring it back to Seattle. They'll want to bring it back to Washington State, where their fans can really make a massive difference. You know, Seattle is one of the best, you know, grounds, football-specific stadiums, crowds, atmospheres you're going to get in North America. And with Rui Diaz, Ladero, Rusnak, as well as the guys I've got listed in my team here, they've got a great roster, a really great squad, and I'm hoping the boys can keep it tight, win a lot of duels, get lots of interceptions, and rack up a lot of points for me. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Stay tuned to the channel. There's plenty more content coming out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. Have a great luck this game week. I hope to see you at the top on the podium next to me. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. I'm still doing monthly giveaways, and I'm making it easier to enter. If you want to be entered to win this month's prize or any future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button. You need to be a subscriber to enter, then leave a comment down below. Each month, a random comment from a random video will be selected as the winner, so the more videos you leave a comment on, the better the chance you've got of winning any of my giveaways. All the winners are announced at the end of videos the same way as we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video today, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. On screen now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.